Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today we're going to do some sourcing on Amazon, also on eBay, to try to find some profitable, undervalued books on both of those platforms to see if we can flip them on Amazon and make some money. We're going to spend about an hour doing this, and I suspect that in that hour, we're going to be able to find at least 4 or 5 books that should return some pretty good money. So, with that said, let's get right into it. If you're someone who's watching this in the future, go ahead and maybe fast forward about a minute or two so we can get everything set up. But that said, let's get into it. All right, let's do this. We already got the comments coming through. What's up, Cisco? Good morning, man. Good to see you here. Let's get right into it. So we're gonna head on over to Keepa, and we're gonna head on over to Flip Mine as well. All right, let's do this. All right, let's see. We got Eric coming through in the house as well. Eric saying, good morning. Hope I'm doing well. I am doing well. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So first, let's take a look at FlipMine over here. So if you're not familiar with FlipMine, it's basically an eBay to Amazon software. It tries to find undervalued stuff on eBay and compare that to the Amazon listing. If there's a difference in price, then it's going to show you that. And then you just have to make the decision of whether or not that's actually going to be a good deal or not. So let's go ahead and use some of the filters that I'm using currently. Cisco says, any caffeine this morning? No, I actually don't even drink coffee, but I'm sure it would definitely help me out a lot. So right now, what I'm looking at is, so this is my $25 profit filter. I'm looking for used books with a sales rank less than 2 million, profit greater than 25. And basically, you'll see there's an eBay and an Amazon image here with the, both of the links to both of those listings. Then I have sales rank shown because I kind of want to know generally how fast is this moving. Now, obviously, sales rank is very dynamic, so I wouldn't say that that number dissuades me or, tells me that I'm going to buy it or not. But, it's a good little indicator there that, hey, maybe this tells me how often this should probably be selling. Then we have the eBay price and the inferred lowest FBA price. All right. So this is coming back with the $28 price in eBay, $91 over here on Amazon, which would be amazing if that were true. So obviously this is a hardcover that looks like it's 28 bucks. The question is that the price on Amazon? So let's go over here to the Amazon page and let's go ahead and come here. All right. Let's see. Can I log in right here? Let's see. Log into SellerAmp. There we go. Awesome. All right. So this is a book that definitely has held some pretty good value. Look at this. Basically 50 bucks the whole entire year. It's gone up a little bit during the textbook season, up to 80. Also has seen a little bit of price tanking back down here in February where the price went kind of right around where you could buy right now. Kind of holding steady right around 30 or 40. But one thing that is good to see with this book is that even though the used price of this book has been going down a little bit, that buy box price and used condition has been pretty steady. It's actually been quite, significantly higher than that lowest lowest used price. And so you can actually see that the price right now is about $69.40. So that's considerably more than what the lowest merchant offer is here. So what I would do is just go to the listing here and just see like what are the prime offers looking like. Looks like we have a few offers right around 69, then it goes up to 75 and 80. So obviously those are going to be our competition. So the question is, would this be a good deal at 28? And you could use SellerAmp if you wanted to do that. So basically, if you put in your buy cost of 28, you would say, well, what do you think you could probably sell this for? I would say, considering that the buy box price has been pretty consistent, at least, usually at least 60 bucks or more, you could say, well, if we just sold it for 60, you'd make a 41% return, which is not bad at all. This is something that actually sells pretty frequently as well. Now, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a home run, but I definitely think that you'd make some money on this if you did that. So we got Eric in the house over here. Good morning. I am doing well. Thank you. And let's see. Camila in the house. Good morning. We got Glenn. Good morning, sir. And we got Chris as well. Thanks for joining, everyone. And we're going to see if we can find some profitable stuff. So I would honestly say that I think this would be profitable. Let's see. There is no newer edition. Let's see when this was published. This book looked like it's been out for a while. And this was published in 2011. So it has been out for over a decade. And it doesn't look like there's a newer edition. Obviously, we can click this little Google button to see if maybe we can find the newer edition somewhere else. But it looks like the thing coming up is actually that same image. So I would say this wouldn't be a home run by any means, but I think you could probably easily sell this book for 60 bucks. Now, one thing you do want to kind of be aware of is that used offer count. Remember, used offer count tells us how many people are offering that item. It doesn't tell us the total number of books on the market, but it does tell us how many sellers there are, and generally that's going to be very important. Right now, we can see that if we go back to May, used offer count was right around like 28. Like that's the number of sellers in the listing. Went down here and during textbook season, which makes sense because there's more demand, more people are selling their copies, so we're going to have fewer people on the listing. And then you can kind of see it started recovering over time. We went through the January textbook season, and kind of interestingly, the used offer count didn't really dip too badly there. But then you actually see the used offer count starting to rise again and actually starting to go down a bit. So again, what I'd say is I think this is a little bit undervalued. I think you can make money on it. Let's just check eBay to see if maybe there's other lower offers as well. And yeah, looks like there's some at 33. These say brand new. I'm wondering if these are probably like international edition or something like that. Brand new. It's interesting. Yeah. So I would say that's probably a pretty good deal, and I can sell that as well. So let's go ahead and go to the next one here. So this one, what the Bible teaches about spiritual warfare. I'm going to open this up because we basically see a pretty big difference in price here, 85 to 210. If that's true, that can definitely be, it could be some opportunity there. So it is 85 on eBay. That's good. Now, if we go over to Amazon, notice that its price is 13. So clearly a little bit of miscommunication there. But one of the reasons why Flipmine is pulling this book is because over the last couple of months, like this book was up to 292 bucks. Obviously, it wasn't selling during that time. And the way I know it wasn't selling is basically the sales rank wasn't dropping at all when that price was that high. Like, notice that the sales rank is only going up during this time, which means no logical human being was buying this. And probably the reason for that is generally you can buy this for right around 10 bucks. So if you could buy it for 10 bucks most of the year, why would anyone spend $300 for it? It doesn't make any sense, right? And that's kind of the thing that you're going to have to look at when you're going through this is you're going to have a lot of things that, are not the best matches, but it's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up some more of these books that have a pretty big difference in price here. And then we're going to see if maybe some of these are worth picking up. So let's look at this road trip book, USA, 28 bucks over here on eBay. Let's go over to Amazon. Same thing. You can pick this up for 14, but this could be an Amazon to Amazon flip. But again, same thing. Lowest use price of this book for 3 or 4 months out of the year is right around $3. That means it's something that doesn't really inherently hold value. So we're going to go and pass on that one as well. We got $11.54 for this Adam's Evil book. We go over to Amazon again. Looks like it's right around that price. Now, here's something that's actually interesting about this book. Let's zoom in to when this book was selling back here in November and December. Notice that offer count was right around 5 or so. And we actually see that the lowest collectible price was $39 and the lowest used price was $49. Okay. So we had one sale here. Notice that the used offer count dropped from 6 to 5. So that probably was in used condition for about $40.59. Then you actually see the price jump back up to $49.99. So probably what happened here is that somebody was on the listing at $40.59 in used condition. Their offer count went off, off the listing, which means someone probably bought it. So then we have another sales rank drop here. Look, we went from offer count of 7 down to 5. We noticed that the collectible offer is still staying the same here. Sales rank drops again, and this is probably $39 in collectible condition. This sales rank drop, because when that happens, notice that the offer count or the collectible offer count goes from 1 to 0. So they probably sold that $39. And then we have actually 3 sales here right around 70. So this is a book that definitely can sell for some good money. It has the potential, but then we go back to June, July, August, and we notice that this book was moving for maybe right around like the $7 to $15 range. So that's also not very good news. We look a little bit, we fast forward a little bit. It was out of stock for a while. Someone came back in stock here on February 8th, basically sold almost immediately at $10. So that means there is some value. There is some, definitely is some demand for it at a cheaper price like that. So something like this, obviously not a textbook. This came out in 1985. This is super old. So you'd want to go back in time and make sure, back in time in terms of the entire breadth of data on Amazon to see what has this book been selling for in the past. So clearly I see it doesn't sell a ton, but it kind of sells right around that $15 range. So I'm not really sure why it sold for such an inflated price right here. I mean, it could be maybe the offer count was a little bit lower, but it's kind of weird because basically after being out of stock for so long, it came back in stock for similar prices, and it didn't really sell a whole ton. And you can actually see it sold once here. So for me, I would say this is a pass. Do I think you could still make money on this? You'd probably want to buy this on Amazon, so you'd have to pay, what would that be? $6, $15.78, which is probably honestly what it's worth. And what would you sell it for? I mean, Prime, you'd probably try to sell for 29.99. So for me, this is something that is interesting. It has the potential to sell for $50, but does it do that very often? Not really. And that might have actually been an outlier. So that's something that we're just going to go ahead and pass on here. All right, let's see what else we got. Camila says, so wait, you use SellerAmp and Keepa to track books or just SellerAmp for OA? Great question. I use Keepa for my sourcing. I use SellerAmp to keep track of the books that I actually buy. So there's a difference between tracking books with Keepa alerts versus tracking the books that you actually purchase. So I use SellerAmp to track the books that I purchase once I bought them. And the reason I do that is because the reason why I use SellerAmp is because it's just way easier in terms of only having to click one time to get all of that data sent to a spreadsheet. So for example, if let's say this book here, which we haven't really analyzed, let's say I was going to buy this for 15 bucks. And let's say I thought I can sell for 78, then I'll have my profit and my ROI here. And all I would do is come down and say, hey, let's say I found this with FlipMine. That's my tag. I'm going to go ahead and export it to my spreadsheet here. And then boom, one click of the button, it's there ready for tracking. So I use SellerAmp more for that feature, the Google Sheets integration. And yeah, if you want to use SellerAmp, let me know. I do have an affiliate link. It's a great way to support the channel. But the calculator, you don't really need SellerAmp for the calculator here. There's other calculators that are free, but I also do use SellerAmp for like storefront stocking, reverse sourcing when I do a little bit of OA, because I am transitioning to, I'm starting to do a little bit of OA. So also, do you have a video to show new sellers on how to find books OA while they're restricted on a lot of books? I think most of the books that you're going to be restricted on are actually ungateable just manually. A lot of the textbooks, like the more popular textbooks, I can't even sell either. I think the only one that maybe a video I could make is like how to get ungated in certain parts of McGraw-Hill, which could be super valuable to a lot of people. But yeah, I wouldn't say. I think I have tons of videos on the channel that are like for people who maybe have never heard of this idea of like how to buy books on Amazon, flip them on Amazon. But I think I would need to know a little bit more about like what books exactly like newer sellers are restricted in. But from my understanding, a lot of them you can get just manually ungated in. So maybe I don't know if you think that's true or not, but kind of that's where I'm at with that. All right, adaptations and responses of woody plants. $31 over here on eBay. Let's go over to Amazon. This actually looks super undervalued, although the sales rank is kind of not showing at all. Actually, you see the sales rank at 20 million, and then it kind of disappears for a while, and then it actually came back down to about 800,000. So probably what happened here is that this is something that literally had never sold in the last 7 or 8 years, and someone actually finally bought it. Probably somebody who needed the book rather than somebody who is doing online arbitrage, because if they bought this doing online book arbitrage, this would be a terrible buy because there's no demand for that book anywhere. So let's go ahead and see. So I have FlipMine. Go ahead and refresh the page every so often. We got Denise in the house. How's it going, Denise? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Let's see. We got this diagnostic pathway. This is an expensive book, 137 bucks. So you'd be spending up. New price is right around 180. So there wouldn't even be much margin at all in this if you were going to buy it. So that's why we're going to go ahead and skip that. Let's see if we can find anything else that might look like a good deal. Like this color and art looks pretty interesting. So does this. And we're going to speed up a little bit the kind of the rate of which we're doing some of this analysis, because we do want to find some good books that could potentially make us some good money. So let's do that. Color in art, 1977. We can send an offer if we need to. $4 on Amazon. This generally sells for maybe $5 to $10. Not a great deal at all. We're going to exit out of that. $6 for this Fire Race book. And over here on Amazon, same thing. Really, really low price. Sell them pretty frequently, but for about $2 plus shipping. Definitely not something we want to do. This is probably a very niche book right here. $117. Look, very, very expensive over here on Amazon. Buy box is $3.98. Not realistic at all, though, because this has been moving for right around like the $45 range. And obviously, look, no one bought this when this was $380. No one even bought this in collectible condition. It was $99 because it's overvalued. So, yeah, this is probably worth right around $40. In the past, it has sold upwards of $100. So that's kind of your ceiling for maybe how high you could go. But I would say generally this is right around 40. So this person is way overvalued on eBay. I'd say that. So I mean, this is something you might track. Is anyone tracking this? There's nobody tracking this book. Has this book ever gone down really cheap in the past? Like, it has gone down to 1753. If you were tracking this book and let's say you could pick it up for 21, I mean, it pretty consistently sells for 45. So I mean, you'd be making $7, which is not great. But remember, you'd be a prime seller. You'd then probably need to try to rely on exploiting the buy box a little bit. So you might need to sell it for like $59.99, which I think would be completely doable. And let's actually see if any of these prime offers sold. So the way that I'm gonna do that is go to this data tab here in Keepa. Then I'm gonna go to the offers tab, and we're gonna look at we're gonna see if there were any prime offers over the last year. So I'm gonna click prime. I'm gonna get rid of new because I'm only looking at used. I'm looking at historical offers. Let's look at the last 365, and let's go ahead and see if we can see if any. Let's see if we can see people's stock quantity change at all. So right now we do have a prime seller at 398. They're in the buy box. Notice that their stock quantity says 1. Then we have this next seller who actually went out of stock right here August 3rd of last year, and they went out of stock at a price of 51. So that's what I mean. If you were to sell this for 51.51, which is what they sold it at, you would make a 60% profit if you were tracking this book back then. And it looks like we have a couple more sellers who went out of stock right around 50, 46, 59, 59. So that's what I'd say is that's what they're probably selling that copy at. So it looks like there is maybe a little bit of a prime bump here. So I would say this is something maybe track for like $12 is what I would track it for. And I'll track it for 3 years. We'll see if maybe we can find something there. All right, let's see what we got. Hi, you're welcome. Glenn says, will you buy an older edition of a book when a newer one is available? If so, what are your criteria you're using making your buying decision? I think the number one thing when it comes to buying older editions is what's the length of the publishing cycle? If the publishing cycle is 1 year, then no, I'd probably not ever buy that older edition because there's just too many new editions coming out. But if there's something that maybe has a longer period, like 5 or more years, maybe even like 4 or more years, up to 10 or more years, that's something I'd be more comfortable buying because generally, if the marketplace, meaning like college campuses, have been using this textbook, the 5th edition, for the last 5 or 6 years, it actually takes quite a while for them to shift over, even when that newer edition comes out. But I would say, Glenn, if I can see recorded historical sales of the older edition, despite the fact that the newer edition is out, and sometimes even when the newer edition is cheaper than the older edition, that might give me a little bit more confidence that if I buy this, then it'd be a good deal. One other thing is the price that I'm buying this older edition that's significantly less than what that newer edition is selling for? Because thinking about it from the logical perspective of being a student, it's like, would you want to be spending more money on the older edition? Probably not. So if the book that I'm buying in this older edition textbook, if I can buy it significantly cheaper than this newer edition, then I can probably still come in and price it below what that newer edition is, and I could reasonably expect someone might save $20 for buying the older edition. So I would say it's really hard to say, Glenn, because there's so many factors that go into determining to buy a book. But I would say longer publishing cycle, want to make sure that the newer edition is significantly more money than the older edition. And then you want to see recorded historical sales of that older edition, despite the fact of there being a newer edition available that people could buy. But really good question. And it's hard to answer because it's more of a case-by-case basis rather than like a blanket rule. Okay, so let's take a look at this Sergio Leone book. It looks like this has sold a couple times, upwards of 50. It's been as low as 17. Actually, you can see the offer count of this go really low. Went out of stock for a little bit. Some sells back here at 30 and 40. So, clearly this is a book that for whatever reason became became way more popular. Probably Amazon went out of stock. Third-party new sellers went out of stock at a more reasonable, lower price. And that's kind of this thing holding around that value. So this is probably worth right around 30 to 40 bucks. This is something I could totally see on eBay at some point in time for 10, 15 bucks. That would probably be a somewhat decent deal, but not for 43. That's kind of what it's worth. Now we can pick this book up for 454. If we head on over to Amazon, it looks like that's what its price is. And wow, this is kind of a crazy graph if you look at it. So like, look at this. Jeez. This is all the way back in, what year is this? This would have been back in 2017. So someone probably made a massive OA book play here. So this was right around 279. Someone when it literally bought out 100 copies, like 140 copies of this book. Price literally shot up only sold a few times, not too many times. So I'm not sure if that's what happened and someone just bought out a whole bunch of copies. But again, it happened here as well, where basically there was 76 offers, went all the way down to 2, and basically just dropped off a cliff. So maybe a whole bunch of people got restricted. Not really sure, honestly, why that happened. But if anyone knows, you can let me know in the comment section. But some sells at 40. But this is something that clearly is more valuable when there are very few offers on the listing. Generally doesn't have much value at all. But that was a very interesting sort of thing to look at. Realistically, professors prefer the students afford it, or the newer edition is super expensive for no reason because there's not much changes from the older edition, but you can always check. Yeah, I would agree with that statement. A lot of the time, the older edition isn't inherently much different than the newer edition. And from personal experience of having been in college and having had my professors recommend getting older editions, I logically would think that, yeah, there's probably a lot of professors out there that are like, you know what, it's all good, buy the older edition. Now, the ironic thing is a lot of times that older edition could be worth more money than, or could be selling for more money than the newer edition. Like, for example, I just posted a short, I'd say maybe like 4 or 5 days ago, of an older edition textbook that is sold for $300, even though you could buy the new edition for $115. So if you're not watching the YouTube shorts or the Instagram reels, make sure you go check those out. I think they're pretty interesting. They've actually been pretty fun to make as well. So I'm curious, has anyone seen any of the YouTube shorts or the Instagram reels I've been putting out? Because I've been literally doing that before I go to bed every day, and it's actually been a ton of fun. It's kind of addicting, honestly. I always thought that I liked long form content better, which I think I still do like long form content better, but I think it's kind of a relief sometimes to not have to explain so thoroughly and just like say, hey, this is what happened, boom, 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 30 seconds. And I think it's fun. All right. So we got Eric says the YouTube shorts are great, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you're watching. I think basically right after I'm done with this at 7:30, I'm going to go ahead and he says fun and informational. Awesome. Thanks for patting my ego a little bit, everyone. Yeah, you're welcome, Glenn. But right after this is over at 7:30 a.m., I have another one scheduled. So as soon as we're done with this, boom, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna post another one. So $30 for the statistical design. Look how crazy this book is. So this is something that has a newer edition out, and this is something that goes right to Glenn's question. This is an older edition we're looking at here. It's the first edition. This is the second edition here on Amazon. Now, if we look at this older edition, this had sold at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 or 9 times this year for basically over $80. Most recent sale here was for 106. And if we go back in time, look at how well this was selling, and look how well this held value over time. Now notice that it's starting to thin out a little bit in the sales rank. By thinning out, I mean, like, imagine you're getting older and you start losing your hair. It's like the number of sales rank drops are coming less frequently, so it's selling less often, probably because there is now a newer edition, which is this edition here. And, you know, again, one thing that I said is, can we buy the older edition for significantly less than the newer edition? In this case, we could, because look at this. Right now, the price of this book is right around $10. So $10, the used price here on Amazon for the newer edition is right around 70. Now, what's really interesting about this newer edition is Amazon has already dropped their new price down to 77, which I'm not sure if, okay, actually looks like Amazon was that cheap in the past for this book as well. It actually increased in price over time, which is kind of interesting for that older edition. But yeah, we could buy it for significantly less. Now, the question here has to do with the offer count. Is it because the offer count has gone from 5 to 30? No, but it definitely is starting to increase a little bit. And on listings that inherently sell fewer times, that's not going to be a good sign, because that just means there's going to be quite a bit more competition. So looks like we got 1, 2, 3. We got about 3 offers right around $14. Then we got one at 25. Then it goes up to 90. So you got a little bit of competition there. Would I want to buy all 3 of those copies? Not really. I'd maybe want to buy one of these copies, and then I also wouldn't probably try to sell it for so high. I'd probably buy this for 15 and then try to just move it and sell for like 50. I think that's kind of what my goal would be if I were to buy this. So I think you could make money on this. Like I said, I'd try to sell for probably 50, and I'd only pick up 1 copy of this. It is likely that the price of this can just keep going down. So you could track it as well. Like, you could track it for $5 if you want to pick it up even cheaper than that. But this is something that I would probably buy. I just wouldn't buy more than 1 if I were to do that. All right. Okay, this is where do I sell books that I'm restricted on? So what I do is I go to a website called Book Finder. So you go over here to bookfinder.com. You can type in the ISBN or the ASIN of any book. So let's see. Let's find a book that actually holds some value. This newer edition holds some value. So I'm going to copy the ASIN, or you can come down here and you can copy the ISBN, which is right there. You're going to come over to Book Finder. Boom. Find book. This is going to show you basically where this is. Okay, so I guess this isn't even found for some reason on Book Finder. Not sure. But let's go ahead and let's find something that has a little bit more value. So let's look at Campbell Biology. Let's look at the purple book. Where's the purple book at? Right there. Okay. So hardcover, $180. Wow, buy box is $350. That's crazy. Okay, that's probably even selling in the buy box. So I'm gonna click the ACE in there. I'm gonna go back over here to Book Finder. Gonna enter that in. This is gonna show us all the other prices on the different marketplaces, and it's also gonna show us what other buyback companies are willing to offer for this. So right now you can see the best buyback offer is $125, and you can actually see there's a soft cover, which is not the right book, for $49. And we have the hardcover on actually eCampus. Is that right? If that's true, that's insane. We can rent the book. This is international edition, international. Okay, I was gonna say, if these were not the international editions, I would buy those right now. But essentially, there's a best buyback offer, so you can click that value, that 125, and you can see who's going to be willing to give you some money. So you got Books Run, My Book Card, sell back your book, and then all you do is, if you want to sell it back to them, that's where you would do that. Another way, if you want to support the channels, I have a Books Run affiliate link as well. I get like 9% of a kickback if you sell it to Books Run. So that's another way to support the channel. A lot of the times Books Run is actually the highest offer. In this case, it isn't. So in this case, you just sell it back to Textbook Rush. But that's how I get rid of restricted books. The other way you could do that is there's a website called restrictedinventory.com that's run by Avery. So Romer the Roamer, he has basically a website where he'll buy your restricted inventory for you, and that's also another option as well. Although it's going to take a little bit more time for you to get your money because you have to ship it there, it has to sell, versus selling it to a buyback is pretty much instantaneous. I mean, you still have to wait for your buyback to get to the buyback company for them to inspect it and stuff, but generally it's a much better way to get fast cash. Okay, so let's exit out of this. $18 for this Pocket Oxford book. We can pick it up for $4. Okay, this is actually slightly undervalued right now. So let's take a look at the last year of data. Like, these last couple sales have been around 5, so not amazing there. These sales have been right around 15. We got a sell at 24. We have a few sales here actually at 40, which is pretty nice. We have one at 10, another sell at 40. And then we go back to early October, we got some up to 30. So it's like, this is something that has ebbed and flowed. I wouldn't say this is an amazing deal. I would say this might be slightly undervalued. Let's see, you can pick a copy up for $8.28. Notice that there's only actually 1, 2, 3, 4 copies, actually 5 total copies. Then it goes back up to 20 and then up to 40. So right now the buy box is 82, which I wouldn't try to exploit the buy box that much, but I bet you some of these people have actually sold it. So you can see like this copy went out of stock at $84. So that means they probably sold it at $84. That's how they went out of stock. Easiest way to do this is just go to the offers tab. So go to data, go to offers. Let's look at the prime offers. Let's go and look at the last 180 days in used condition. Include historical offers. That's important. Historical meaning people who were in stock but are not in stock. Why would someone go out of stock? Probably because they sold their copy. There's other reasons why they can go out of stock as well, but we just kind of want to see what price over here on the left did people go out of stock on. So it's important to know, I'm sorting by when they were last seen. So we can see all of these just now. I mean, these are people who are actually on the listing right now still. So we have quite a few people who are still on the listing, and we can actually see that reflected in stock quantity. Stock quantity still says 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But look, this person went out of stock at $84. Now, this person went out of stock for $80 as well, although that probably was, that was actually 5 months ago. Okay. So we have a couple of people who went out of stock at $38 as well. So I would say You know, generally, if you were to pick this up, I would probably try to sell it for $39.99. It has sold for that in the past, so you'd be picking it up for 10, selling for 39, you'd make 15. But again, this is something that doesn't sell a ton, and there is going to be a little bit more competition on this as well, probably. So this is one of those books where I'm saying I think you could definitely make money selling this. Look at all the other Prime sellers; they're at 80. I think that's a little inflated, even though someone did sell it for that. You know, I just don't think that's going to be very likely to happen. I think 40 could happen. You would be exploiting the buy box a little bit, but you might come in, undercut them, and make some money. Again, this is something I'd buy only one copy of. That I wouldn't go too deep for sure. Yeah, for sure. Let me go and find that for you real quick. Book Run affiliate link. That'd be amazing. So basically, Books Run offers a 9% affiliate link to anyone who has, you know, is affiliated with them. So let's see if I can find where that went. All right. But yeah, I would appreciate it if you ever do sell to a buyback company, because it is definitely a way for me. It is a lucrative way to get some money back. And sometimes I actually prefer to sell to buyback companies rather than sell it on Amazon. So I think I had put this in one of my previous YouTube videos. Where would I put that at? I think I put it in this 0 to 1,000. So let's go and take a look at that. But I'm curious, where's everyone coming from today? And how's it going? Let me see. Show more. I'm sorry, Denise. I should have been prepared for this. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go throw it in the chat for you there. Thanks, Denise. I appreciate that. Usebook guy, make money on a dictionary is definitely an April. It's not an April Fool's joke, although it does sound like an April Fool's joke. How is that even possible? But no, it actually is for real. Like I would bet you money that you can make money on that book. Will it be an amazing deal? No. Will you be retiring off that book? Absolutely not. But I would bet you that I can make, not from this copy, but from the Amazon copy. But let's see if we can find anything else. I'm gonna go a little bit faster. I know I said I was gonna do that, but let's actually go faster now. Let's actually go faster here. Okay, let's go. 453. Wow, look at this, everybody. This was a flip. This shows you how long I've been in the game. I bought this on February 14th of 2017. So actually, this was an Amazon flip I did back in 2017. Let's go back to 2017. When did I buy this again? We can even look at the historical data. February 14th of 2017. So let's go back, look at this date. This would have been mid 2016 to 2018. So February 4th, 2017. So I bought it somewhere around here. What would I have sold it for? That's back when that's back when my Keepa skills were not as great. So I bet you I probably still made a little bit of money on it, but it's kind of hard to see. The new price was pretty consistent, right around 50. So I could have lost money on it. I don't know, but that shows you how long I've been in the game. 2017. That's kind of crazy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Where are we at? We're in New Jersey in the process of moving. Nice. Where else are we at? As an Irishwoman, that book is worth every penny. So we know that there's a market out there. Michael from Virginia, go faster, says Ross. All right, let's go faster. Let's zoom. Here we go. Do I hold on to books to avoid fees? No, generally my books sell on average like every 3.5 months. That's like how long it takes average book to sell. Obviously, I have books that have been there for a year. If it's something that holds a lot of value and according to Keepa should still historically sell and make a decent profit, then I'll hold it there. I don't mind paying long-term storage fees because in the grand scheme of things, the long-term storage fees are actually significantly cheaper than holding everything in a storage unit, a storage locker, and paying that. So, you know, but take it with a grain of salt. Most of the books I buy actually hold a lot of value and usually could be making some pretty significant profit. So I would say if your model is thrifting, I would absolutely get rid of stuff or try to sell it for even maybe a slight loss because of long-term storage fees. But that's if your sell price is a lot lower. Like if your sell price averages sub $25, I would say you probably want to get rid of stuff. Yeah. All right. So this book is actually gated by Pearson, which is very unfortunate because this could potentially be a buy. So this is something you wouldn't be able to get ungated in, but notice that price of this has been super high in the past. It has sold up to 80 before, but it's also been right around what its price is right now, right around 15. So this is a book that definitely ebbs and flows in price. You actually see the used offer count ebb and flow as well. So this is something that I would say is probably somewhat decent of a pickup, but there is also a new edition. We're gated on it, so there's no reason for us to continue looking at that. We got this Mafia book at 39. I could see this being worth money. We can buy it over here on Amazon for 18. Okay, this looks interesting. Look, couple sales here at 60, couple sales at 85, some more sales there at 85. Price went up all the way down to up to 120. No one really bought it. This has been as low as $4 in the past, and it's really interesting that the offer count actually just fell off a cliff here. Probably what happened here, everyone, is that there was an online arbitrage bookseller like Joji who probably bought 20 copies of this book because it was so cheap historically. And yeah, I mean, look at them. Look, there had been some sales back here at 40. There were some sales upwards of 50 or 70. So probably what this person was thinking, whoever bought this, was like, all right, I can go ahead and buy 20 copies. If I spend maybe $6, they're 20 times 6. So they would spend $120 on buying 20 copies. And then their thought process is, if I can sell like 5 or 6 of them for 30, I make my money back. And then all the other ones I can just slowly sell over time. And probably if they did sell these, I mean, they'd be making some pretty good money if they're selling these at 85. It'd only probably take, what, 2 or 3 books for them to make all their money back. So very interesting, smart buy there. Let's see if we can figure out who that seller is, because theoretically they should be on the listing right now with a lot of offers. So let's actually see if we can see who that is. I'm trying to find someone who has a ton of offers available, and keep in mind that this person might be really smart as well and not be sending in a whole bunch of like copies at once. They might be merchant fulfilling it and holding on to it. So let's go and take a look to see if any of these offer counts are really high. So we got our stock quantities. So it looks like this is in the last 30 days, right? Not last 90 days. Okay. Last 180. So it actually looks like pretty much everyone here stock quantity of 1. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe they're just sending in one at a time, but I would bet that was an online arbitrage bookseller. And let's go and take a look at the offer. So over the last 90, let's see, last 90 days, used condition, historical offers. So it looks like we went out of stock at 140 and 130, although the stock quantity isn't showing here. So maybe let's go to 180. Not showing there either. 365. Yeah. So this is not a perfect method to look at when offer counts change, but I was just trying to see if maybe we could figure out when this is sold for. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely an interesting flip. This is something that I would probably track for like $5. Honestly, I would pick up a copy of this for $5 for sure. All right. I am gated in that, but I can probably get ungated in that pretty easily. It's probably a automatic ungate. I'm always confused with the top of the green line in the sales info. Can you just explain it for a novice? All right. Let's see. The top of the green line in the sales info. Let me see if I can. Top of the green line. What do you mean by that? I think you mean this. This would be the top of the green line. So what you need to know is that anytime that the sales rank drops off a cliff, like let's get rid of all this stuff. Anytime the sales rank drops, that indicates a sell. So this book sold right here. It went from 1 million sales rank to 205,000 sales rank. That's a sell. Then the sales rank actually starts going up because it becomes less popular. It's not selling. It actually starts dipping down a little bit. This is not a sell. A sell is going to be a sharp dip. So this is probably just an error recorded by Keepa. But look, then the sales rank drops from 1.1 million down to 400,000. That's a sharp drop. You're looking for literally a vertical line that goes straight down. That's going to be a sell. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales in this time period. So that tells you when it's selling. Now you could do that. You can count that, or you can go to the data tab and you could go to product details and you can see how many drops there have been in the last 90 days, the last 180 days. So Keepa will try to record that. So in the last 180 days, there's been 12 drops, which means 12 sells. Now it's not perfect. This could have been someone buying multiple copies. Like this sales rank drop could have been someone buying more than one copy. And going back here, notice when the sales rank dropped here from 1.5 million down to 91,000, offer count went from 28 down to 18. So this was one sales rank drop, but offer count changed by a lot, which means a lot of copies were sold here. Now notice that we went all the way down to 91,000. Probably the reason why we went that low is because so many copies were bought, and then it went down to 17,000 because again, there are a lot of copies bought in a short period of time. Then the sales rank goes back up, and then you can actually start seeing sales rank drop. Now, what's interesting is that you actually see the offer count continue to go down, yet the sales rank starts going up. So I would argue that probably this book is still selling, but Keepa wasn't necessarily recording that data. So Keepa is not perfect at all, but it gives you an idea of how often things are selling. Now, all you need to do then is overlap the use price with the sales rank drop. So this would be super easy to look at. Look, sales rank dropped right here. What was the use price? 34 bucks. So it probably sold for 34 bucks. Look how the offer count changed from 19 to 18 at the same time that the sales rank dropped. So let's look at this next one. Sales rank dropped from 1.3 million down to 136,000. Look at the offer count dropped from 19 to 18 there as well. So it looks like that sold there as well. All right. What else we got? Good question. So we just answered that. What shipping center do you use, and is it worth it? Yeah, I use Central Virginia Prep. Let's actually see if we can find them online. Central Virginia Prep. All right, so here's Central Virginia Prep. This is some images of their warehouse. They prep my books. Basically, all the books I buy on Amazon, eBay get sent to them. So look, this just looks like what they've actually shared, but they're actually pretty big operation. But I've actually never Googled them to see where they're at. So that's obviously Robert's Oxygen. That's interesting. Okay, so this is their warehouse here, and let's see if we can. We're snooping on them a little bit, but all right, let's go here. So that looks like, I don't think you can go in the parking lot. That would be kind of insane. But yeah, this is their warehouse. So clearly a very big warehouse, and essentially I send all my books there. Let's see if we can go to their website homepage here. So they'll go ahead and, you can contact them if you're a used book seller, wholesaler, private label seller. You can look at all the fees and stuff like that, their services. But essentially I pay like $2.25 per book, which is actually pretty expensive to get prepped. But on the other hand, I'm buying super expensive books. And in reality, prepping is a very low skill. No, it's a low skill job. All you got to do is look at the book. Is it in good condition? Yes. Boop, scan it in, put a label on it, put it in a box. Like, that's not super hard to do. It's much harder to read a Keepa graph and figure out if that's a good book to buy. So I don't have the time also to do my prep, even though I do have a couple of boxes that I'm shipping out right now. You can't see them in the background, but I do actually have to send out a shipment with my 0 to 1,000 series. So today I'm going to make a shipment with some of the books I picked up for free. So I've got some not so amazing books here, but as part of that 0 to 1,000, we're trying to go from literally nothing to 1,000. There have been basically 2 episodes out already, and third episode is in the works, and I think it's going to get pretty insane pretty quickly. So yeah, I use Central Virginia Prep. I've heard really good things about Little Owl as well, but 100% completely worth it for me. It allows me to spend the time doing the highest value task in my business, which is buying stuff and working on account health and stuff like that. So do you have a video on what you tell them to do, like a spreadsheet? I don't have a video, but I should probably make a video that shows, hey, here's Central Virginia Prep, here's the spreadsheet, here's how you take the book here, go to the spreadsheet. That would be super simple, and I'm going to add that to the long list of videos that I have to make. So kind of just, it is very difficult to make, it's getting more difficult to make videos, but I definitely have a ton of videos that are etched in there that I'm trying to make out. So I appreciate all the support, everyone, and appreciate you watching, because I think that would be really helpful to people for sure. All right, let's see what we got here. Entrepreneurial finance, we can pick this up for $5. Let's look at Keepa. Basically, it's worth between 5 to 10, 5 to 15. Not really going to be worth our time. This looks like it's a children's book, probably not worth anything. And we can see, yeah, that's true right there. And then this contemporary book we just saw. So none of those look like they're that amazing. Let's go ahead and look at this last book, and then we'll head on over and do some Keepa sourcing. So Entomology, this book looks really old. Nice little grasshopper on there. $40 free shipping. Over here on Amazon, it's $20. So this might be an Amazon to Amazon flip, but let's look at when the sales velocity is best, meaning when the sales rank drops the most. It's right around $20. So we're not buying it. It's actually more expensive on eBay than it generally is on Amazon. So we're going to get rid of that. Let's do a little bit of Keepa research. So the first thing I'm gonna do is see if any of my notifications have come through. So my Keepa alerts, anything that looks super interesting. And most of what I'm seeing here are just books that look like they've kind of tanked in price, not necessarily anything that is actually. I've already looked at that book that I didn't buy that, so it doesn't look like I've gotten any recent notifications that look super interesting. So let's go over to the deal page, and let's see if we can find anything over there. All right, VA series first says, I know. I'm working on those videos too. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, everyone. I'm also interviewing some people behind the scenes, and those videos are going to drop. So Glenn says, help support Joji in the channel for all his help. Smash the like button. I appreciate you, Glenn. Thanks for all the support. Let's keep going. All right, so we're going to look at Keepa deals. Let's look at used books. Let's look at drops today. Drop interval today. And let's say drops of let's go at least 25%. Let's do that. At least a 25% drop. You can only go by 10%. So let's go 30% drop. Let's have no filter. Well, we should have the drop at least be like $13. And the current price, we probably want to go anywhere we can pick this up between 5 and let's try like 22. Sales rate, let's go up to 1.5 million. And let's just go ahead and sort by newest first. Not 15 million, 1.5 million. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, you can't even see my screen. Thanks for letting me know. All right, there we go. Now you can see my screen. So here's what I just did. Let's actually just reset this so you can see what it looks like. All right, so we're over here on the Keepa Deals page. Come over to deals. Essentially, we're just trying to find books on Amazon that have dropped in price. Maybe they've dropped to the point where they're profitable to flip. So we're going to go to used. I'm going to say let's go to the drop interval of 1 day. Let's have at least a 30% drop in price. And we want that drop to be at least $13. I mean, these are just arbitrary numbers, by the way. Like, does it have to be 13? Does it have to be 30%? No, but... And then we're also going to look for books that we can pick up between 5 and, let's do 22. Sales rank between 1 and 1.5 million. And we're going to go and sort by the newest first. So we're just going to look for drops to see if anything looks interesting here. And let's go ahead and do this. So, like, for example, this book sold twice for 100. Then it sold twice here for 40. Another time for 36. Then it just dropped today from 36 down to 20. This is something that inherently doesn't sell a lot. So let's look at the last 2,000 days. This actually had sold back here for $79 about 3 or 4 times. So this is interesting, although it's something that inherently doesn't move very often. Also, you're going to be limited on your upside on how high you can sell this for, because there is a new copy at 100. But basically, there's 2 copies here. I probably wouldn't buy this because it just doesn't sell often enough. So I would say, with that said, you might be able to buy it and still make money, but I would say I would pass on it. Let's look at Mad Love, $9.99. Okay, this is a book that has a little bit of potential. You need to exploit the buy box a little bit here, probably, but I would say this probably would be a buy here. All right, so look, $9.99 plus $4 shipping. So you'd be, let's use Seller Amp, let's use that calculator. So you'd be all in for $13.98. You can see that the lowest prime right now is 27. I think there's only 3 offers. Yeah, basically offer count of this went from 9 all the way down to 1. So I'm not sure if one person bought a whole bunch of that, but I don't know why that is, why the offer count went down so crazy. But the last like 4 sales, we had one here at what looks like probably 27. Then we had a sell at 43, 45, a sell at 45 as well. And then we had a cluster back here at 25. So I mean, if you were to sell this for $29.99, you'd barely be profitable. But this is something that it generally holds more value than what it's being sold for right now. Generally, this is worth maybe right around 15 to 25. Now, what I would want to do is look further back into time to see what can this or what has it sold for. So generally, this book generally holds value. Like, it's selling between 20 to 30 generally. It has been lower in the past for sure, but it also has some pretty good sales velocity at, like I mentioned, up at that higher level. The offer count is historically low, which is a good sign. So if this were me, I'd probably try to sell this. I mean, notice that this was selling for $45 even at a high offer count. I'd probably try to sell this at $39.99. Now, this is also an audio CD. This is not even a book. I didn't even realize that. This is a CD, which I think you could still probably honestly flip. But you'd have to wait for that person at 27 to get out. So let's go to data and let's go to offers. And let's look at all the prime offers. Let's go to historical offers and let's get rid of the new condition offers. And let's look at this over the last 365 days. And you can see that right now we have this person in stock, and they're in stock at 27. Look how crazy their pricing has been. They started at 30, they went up to 59, they went down to 14.68, then to 33, then to 59, and then they came back down here all the way down to 27. So they've had some pretty crazy up and down. Now this person is no longer on the listing. They were last seen 3 hours ago, so it could be that they just sold their copy, or maybe Keepa for some reason hasn't updated it. This person went out of stock right here at so they went out of stock in December for a price of 42 in collectible condition. This person was on the listing actually for not that well, they were on the listing for a little while. Actually, they went out of stock at 23, 18, 40. So I mean, maybe this would be a pass, but I mean, the last few sales have been at 43. This is kind of one of those like, I think you would make money if you bought this, but I'm not super overly excited about it. It's also just one of the few things that we've looked at, and we're interested in books. Let's go look at books here. What's up, Steve? How's it going, man? I'm not the GOAT at all, man. You're the GOAT. So is Mike the used book guy. Had people in my Discord freaking out about your video. Let's go. All right, let's keep going back. Appreciate the support. We're actually looking at it. We were looking at a CD right there. All right. So this is all just going to be fast Keepa analysis. Like, for example, this is what is this? A 2019 7-book set. It sold once here for 147, twice for 138, once here for 147. Then the price dropped to 37. And generally, this thing has been selling very infrequently, but been selling for quite a bit of money. I would bet that whoever's selling this probably doesn't have all the books. That'd be my best guess. But let's see. Some have writing in the mothers barely touched. Nah, the mothers barely touched all the books. Okay, so 2019. So it looks like maybe they do have all the books here. So would this be an Amazon flip? There isn't a 2020 version, which means there's also probably a 2021, 2022 version. So probably wouldn't pick this up. But I mean, it did actually sell for 147 just recently. So I mean, like I said, that'd be something I probably wouldn't buy, but I wouldn't be surprised if you made money on that. Not at all. All right. The Solomon Exam Prep Guide. So this is something that has sold in the past for 115. Some sales are at 78. Sold once here for about one, probably in new condition there. Yeah, new offer count dropped from 2 to 1. So sold for 122 in new condition. Price dropped down to 43. Someone bought it in probably used condition there. And then it's right around 37. So let's open this listing up. Again, this is inherently something that doesn't sell a bunch. It looks like there's 2 copies here, but again, this is kind of like a little bit of a gamble. It doesn't sell a ton, but also it's when it was selling, it was maybe right around 70. So if you're picking it up for, what do we have to pick this up for? 37, sell for 75. There wouldn't really be enough margin for me to justify the lower ROI. So I'd pass on that. But again, wouldn't be surprised if you made money on that book. I'm just not going to buy it. All right. Digital logic and microprocessor design. All right. This looks like probably a buy here. Let's go and take a look. So this is a hardcover. These are probably rent and use copies. Yeah, so rent and use on the listing. For some reason, they've started to liquidate stock. I mean, they've been doing that on a lot of books. So that's offering some opportunity. They have some acceptable offers there. Let's see if any of those are actually, let's see if they have any copies that are in good condition. So I'm going to get rid of the acceptable filter. And it looks like they have no good or very good or like new. So you can pick these up right now for $35 free shipping, although you cannot use your Prime services. So you need to hop on over to a non-Prime account. So you need I have 2 accounts. Basically, I have my general Prime account, and I always use my Prime account to buy merchant fulfilled books. So I'm not taking advantage of Prime services, but I couldn't use this account that I'm on right now to buy this book. I'd have to hop onto my business Prime account. Sorry, my business account that's non-Prime and buy this. Good news is that over $25, you get free shipping anyways. So $35 would be the buy cost here. Let's look at Keepa's historical data. It looks like it most recently sold for about 130. It sold here for 130. Couple of sales back here for 90. So I would say probably pretty conservatively, you'd be able to sell it for $80, make a $20 profit. Now, would I buy all 5 of them? Was it 4 of them? All 4 of them? Probably not. I might buy 2. It doesn't really sell very frequently, so you want to hedge your risk a little bit. There's tons of other books to buy as well, so I'd say maybe buy 1 or 2 copies. But yeah, I think you could definitely make money on this as soon as they sell out. So let's see what we got. Could I use my Wise Prime account to buy items even though it's the same address? You'd not want to use yeah, you could use anyone's account, like any address. You can send it anywhere you want. You just can't use the Prime service. So right now that was from a Prime seller, meaning that because I have Amazon Prime, I'd be getting free shipping and I'd be getting it in 2 days. That's against Amazon's TOS. Most of the books you buy inherently are from merchant fulfilled sellers. So even if you had a Prime account, it doesn't matter because you're not using the Prime service to get that book, Mike. So generally, when you find great deals that are from Prime sellers that are fulfilled by Amazon, you got to hop on to anybody's account that's not Prime and not going to be getting that in 2 days. So you just be basically getting the free shipping, because I think Amazon gives free shipping if you order over $25 anyways. So you'd be getting free shipping. You just wouldn't be getting the same speed. And one thing I will say, Mike, is that in the past, I've been buying books on Amazon since 2017. In the past, I have definitely bought Prime books on a Prime account, and that was against TOS. And at that time, I didn't know that. And I've probably bought a few hundred books like that, and nothing ever happened to me. So, do they have bigger fish to fry? Absolutely. Will they do anything to you? Probably not. But it'd be better if we listen to their terms of service, probably. Differential equations. Look at this. Price of this dropped from 81 down to 35. Notice that $35 mark again. So again, this is going to be rent to you probably. How many copies do they have in stock on this one? They have 16 in stock on this one. So again, this is probably something that is, well, definitely it's undervalued. Is there a newer edition? There is a newer edition coming out, but it hasn't been released yet. So again, this is something that could be decent. We are gated in this, and this is 7 gauge, so we'd probably move on. I'm just curious to see what buyback companies are offering for this book, though. Let's go paste into the book finder. And look how crazy this is, everyone. This is absolutely insane. Right now, you can buy this book on Amazon for $35, free shipping. And you have a textbook company that's willing to give you $37.64 for it. So there's an Amazon to buyback company arbitrage flip. Now, obviously, it's only $2, and that's not amazing. And Textbook Rush and pretty much every company will only accept 1 copy anyway. So that would be a cool video. Hey, I bought this for 35, flipped it to a buyback company for 37. Maybe if it were a little bit more, like if it were like 47, I probably would buy a copy and make a video about that. But I've definitely have done that in the past, where you buy stuff on Amazon because it's so undervalued, and then you flip it back over to a buyback company to make some money. Pretty interesting concept. I wouldn't say it's very profitable or anything like that, but it has happened. All right, this is interesting. This book sold here for 59, sold here for 75, sold a couple times back here for 15. So this has generally been in and out of stock all the time in both new and used condition, and this can sell up to $50. And right now this is basically at $11.73 plus $6 shipping. So you'd be all in for this book at $17.72. If we just sell it for what it has most recently sold for at right around 50, then you'd be making about 100% return. Now, there is a little bit of risk on this book. Amazon was in stock with this book for basically $8 or so, and new third parties were on the listing for a while. But since they've gone out of stock, basically this has been crickets. Like there haven't been very many copies, and when there have been copies, people have been buying them pretty quickly and been buying them for well over what you can buy it for today. So something that I would do for a book like this is actually see if we can see any sold comps on eBay as well. So it looks like there are no sold comps, which is kind of weird that there wouldn't be anyone listing this book on eBay. But I guess it makes sense. I mean, there are literally like no copies listed on Amazon at all. So this is something that I honestly would probably take the gamble at. I mean, they have moved at as high as 50. I mean, this one was at 75. So they have moved for a pretty good amount. Notice that when this comes in stock, it basically sells out pretty much immediately. So, I'd probably try to pick it up for 17, flip it for 50. Is this an amazing deal? No. Do I think it would sell? Probably. And let's look at the data and let's look at offers and let's see if any of these Prime sellers have been on the listing in the last 180 days. So I guess the only one that we can see is this person here. They were in acceptable condition. They went out of stock at 49, so they probably sold it at 49. This person, the stock quantity isn't showing here, but they also went out of stock at 49 as well. So, I mean, that's exactly right where I put it. I think you probably would be able to sell it at that. So a little bit of gamble, a little bit of a gamble there. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this hasn't even been in stock in new condition for a year. It's probably, and even when it came back in stock, it was barely in stock. So I would say this is a book that probably you can make money on for sure. All right. So we just haven't really found anything that's been like a home run, but we've definitely found some stuff that looks interesting. All right. Let's just end on this book here because this looks interesting. Tim Hetherington, Infidel. You can buy this for $39.64. I don't believe that's a prime seller though. Let's filter by. There are no prime offers, which is actually really good news here. And there's actually about 3 or 4 copies until it gets up to 85. So the reason why I think this is interesting is because like this sells actually for $11.47. So that's why you'd want to track books. There's only 5 people tracking this book, but the reason why you track this is because look, this is what's selling back May, June, July for about 70. All those sales rank lines dropping over that used price of 70 means that's generally what it's been selling for. Has sold for less, right around 35, which is kind of what it's valued at today. Then it actually went out of stock. Basically, it went from an offer count of 6 to 0, and then it, someone came in stock at 39. Someone bought it. Someone actually bought it at 139, which is pretty insane that they spent that much. Or maybe they bought it in collectible. No, so they probably bought it there. Then someone who had a track product who was tracking this book bought it for $11.47, so they made out like a bandit. And then you can actually see there's a little bit of a repricing more going down. 85, 64, 54, 46, 43, 39. So what I would say is let's track this book for, I would probably track this for right around like $15 or so. And I'm curious to see what other people are tracking it. So the average tracking is 17. So right around what I tracked it for. Something that definitely can hold some good value and has sold for a lot in the past. Like look, back with an offer count of 20, August of 2022, this was selling for 140. So this has a lot of upward momentum, like upward possibility. So, this is why tracking would have been amazing. You would have picked this up for $11.47, probably plus $4 shipping. So you would have been in this for like $15. I would say probably very conservatively as a prime seller, you'd probably be able to get $50 for this. Not negative $50. So that'd be a $17 profit. I think you could go up to 74. There are no prime offers, so I would say it'd be probably pretty easy to get $75 for this as well as a prime seller. I have to wait a little bit, but yeah, I would say definitely this would have been a good pickup back then. It might even be a somewhat decent pickup now, although you would have to exploit the buy box a little bit. So probably a little bit too overvalued for me at this point, but let's see what people have been moving it for. I mean, this is crazy though. Like these people were seen 11 days ago. They went out of stock and they went out of stock at $138. I could totally see this book selling in the buy box for $130, considering that in the past it actually has sold when the lowest use price was over $100. So there are definitely people willing to buy it for that. And that's in the last 90 days. Let's look at the last 180 days. Then we see some prime sellers go out of stock. So this person went out of stock at 143. This person went out of stock at 58, 58, 63, 72. So that probably is a little bit more realistic for what it should be selling at. But yeah, I would say it's probably a bit overvalued for me still. But again, there was nothing that we really came across today that I was like, hey, this is a home run. But with that said, I think a lot of those books you would make money on. I would have probably only bought a few of them, but that's kind of the name of the game as well, is that you do a lot of sourcing. You don't necessarily find a whole bunch of great books, but that's the name of the game. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream there. I do have a newsletter. If you want to join the newsletter there, that's the link there. I do have a Discord as well. If you want to get on the Discord, then free Discord there. We got Mike, the used book guy, in there. He offers tons of value. We got a lot of people in the chat that are already in there, but really awesome place for you just to ask some questions, whether it be advanced, whether it be intermediate, whether it be newbie, whatever it is. Everyone in there is generally very helpful, and I think there's like over 100 members now, so there's that as well. Is there anything else? If you did want to try out Seller Amp as well, got you there. But with that said, I have some listing to do. I've got quite a bit of books for the 0 to 1,000 challenge. These are all books I got for free. I think we're going to make a killing on these used books. So got some books that I got a list there. I got some other things I got to do as well. So that's where I'm going to end it today. Anyone have any last minute questions before we go on? I'm not sure my camera is not focusing. Okay. Otherwise, probably get head out there. You're welcome, Denise. Have a good one, everybody. Have a good one. Let's see what my sales are for the day. Let's see. By the way, my YouTube short just posted at 7:30 a.m. So if you wanted to watch that, feel free to go watch it. Don't worry, I'm at $0 on the day. So we haven't sold anything yet, but it's only 7:30 in the morning, and actually I've been doing pretty well. So hopefully this isn't an April Fool's joke by Amazon that, you know, I'm at $0, but that's where I'm at. You're welcome. I will enjoy the day. Spend some time with my boy. You're welcome, Cisco. Thanks for being here, Cisco. I appreciate it. Not sure how much of it you're able to catch, but I appreciate you showing up. It means a lot. I'm looking forward to Doughboys Media. So if y'all don't know Doughboys Media, let's actually go look at Doughboys Media right now. Let's go over to YouTube. Let's type in Doughboys Media on YouTube. Here they are. So they got 79 subscribers. Go give them a follow if you don't mind. Go give them a subscribe. So looks like, what do they got going on recently? So we got the boys over here. They just interviewed Carter Maxwell. He's a pretty big seller. I don't think he posts content anymore, but we had a shoe reseller here. We got Kev Flips. I know Kev. Don't know who those guys are, but we had Checkmate Flips on the podcast 4 weeks ago as well. So go give them a follow. Go give them a subscribe. They're good guys out there. Okay. Didn't you say you're posting another now? Yeah, I just posted one at 7:30 a.m. So it should be on under my live. Like, let's see. Let's go find that as well. Just shameless plugs left and right. So let's go to my channel here. Let's see what we got. If we go under shorts here, we're actually book flipping made simple. No scanning. Try to be as clickbaity as. Well, I mean, it's not really clickbaity. Like, where's this other one? I thought this other one was good. How I source Goodwill at midnight. I thought that was a funny one. So I'm doing this challenge. I'm trying to post 100 shorts. I'm trying to post one short a day for 100 days and just see what happens. I don't know. They've been actually really fun to make. So yeah, so fun. Shameless plug. Love it. Yeah. Hit that like button. That's love. Exactly. That is love. So I'm also going to be going on Doughboys next month, or actually this month, and I think like 15 or so days. So watch out for that. Also, if you want to learn a little bit more about my business things I don't necessarily talk about, let's go over to Seth Sarvis's channel as well, because he just interviewed me. I definitely Seth Sarvis, misspelled his name. Sorry, Seth Sarvis Baker. So over here, how this guy buys used books for 27 and sells them at 99. So that was actually a really interesting video. Behind the scenes as well. Let's go into. I actually just interviewed a couple dudes who you might know as well. Let's go to StreamYard and let's go to videos. Not sure if you've ever seen this guy right here, the Used Book God, but I interviewed the Used Book God, Seth Sarvis. We just interviewed him for an hour. He spilled some insane knowledge, some golden nuggets there in that interview. And actually, Reezy Resells, we actually filmed a video with him a little while ago, and that video is going to be posting pretty soon. So definitely had some pretty cool interviews that I'm super fortunate to have got to, these really cool people I got to interview. So super excited about that. All right, everybody. I'm just literally belaboring the point. So I'm going to go enjoy my Saturday. Hope everyone has a great day. And I'll see you guys next Saturday, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. We're going to do some live sourcing. But peace out, everyone. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Philip, sorry, man. We just ended the stream. But hey, this is going to be recorded so you can go back and you can watch it. But sorry, man. We just ended. But hey, what's up, man? But bye as well. I got to go. All right, everyone. Peace out.